Hi, today we want to talk about the OSPF and we will cover about the LSA types in OSPF, what's ABR, ASBR routers, and what's the meaning of backbone, virtual link, and then at the end we will talk about the redistribution. Okay, so we will start it step by step. We will start OSPF in one area, then we will turn on the other routers in the other area, and we will understand it, how it works. Uh, when you see the routers, you didn't know about it, which protocols they are using. So we must verify about it. For example, in router one, I use show IP protocols, and here you can see it shows in this router use OSPF1, and here we have a EIGRP, and it shows that this is these two protocols is already run in this device. Uh, the matter is that you need it now to check it, the OSPF, which are the neighbors you can use show IP OSPF neighbor, and you can watch it. It shows the router ID of the neighbors that they are common in OSPF. It shows router ID 2 and router ID 3, you will see. And it shows the DR and BDR. I think you know about the designated routers and the BDR. So we can verify. We have two other routers. It is has a neighborship. Also, you can use it. Which interfaces working in this router in OSPF? So I will write show IP OSPF interfaces brief. You can see in router one F30 and F00. Both of them are working in this uh, OSPF protocols. Now we want to understand more about the OSPF. Just I give a brief description about how OSPF neighborship will happen. When you turn on the both router and run the OSPF between them, first of all, both the routers send hello to check they have the condition of the neighborship or not. The condition of neighborship, you must know about all the conditions when the neighborship can happen, because in troubleshooting will help you. First of all, you know the subnet of these two interfaces that they are connected together. These two routers must be in same subnet. MTU must be same. Also, you see here the area must be same. Uh, if you set authentication, the authentication also must be same. So then after that, they say they understand it. The neighborship condition is okay. They will go in initiate state. After that, they send that to decide the information and check the router ID. You know, the in OSPF we select the DR based on the first. If you set a manual router ID like this, that we set it manually 111.222, the numbers that is higher will be winner. So 222 will be like a DR. If you didn't set the manual router ID, then it will go and check the loopback interface that is working in OSPF. It must be active in OSPF. So that one, the which loopback is higher, it will be elected. If you didn't set any loopback, then it will go and check the which IP interface is higher and will select the DR. These three conditions, check it step by step. Then after that, it will choose which one is DR, and after that they check the DR. They send some the database description. It is just summary of the data, and they will understand which data they have, which one is common between them, which one is new. So after that, it will start to check about the ls request, and says that okay, give me this request, I need it, and get the update. They will reply and update, and when the update finish, you can see the condition of ls acknowledge, or normally you can see full condition. Let me show you here. When we the OSPF, everything is happen, this is loading to full. Here is the end of the neighborship between OSPF. So the neighborship condition, everything happened, and between them now OSPF work. Okay. Uh, Now the most things is that in OSPF we use LS database. LS database is like a map for us, and it shows all the information inside it. For watching the database, you need write it a show IP OSPF database, and then click. Okay, here shows the ID of the router. It is R1, so the router ID is 111. You will see the first line is the LS type 1 that shows router link state in area 1. You see, it shows the area, and it shows the all the routers that they are now neighbor together, and you see 1, 2, and 3, they are neighbor together. After that, it is ls, so this is lsa type 1, and now lsa type 2 is the routers are dr, just only shows the dr routers, and it is net link state. The name is net link state. So now you understand lsa type 1 and lsa type 2. In lsa type 1, it shows all the routers, they are neighbor in one area. LSA type 2 is the DR routers. So now we are going to turn on the other routers. Just give me a minute. I start to turn on the routers. Also here. Okay. Okay. Now we want to talk about the routers in a multi-area, when we want to use and why we use multi-area in OSPF. See, now we have only three routers here in area one, and just a moment. Moment. Mhm. Okay. Okay. See, you think about this database. Now we have three routers, but if you add it, make it 10, 15, 20 routers. So in this one area, maybe, and each routers has so many routing protocols inside it, and maybe the database will be so big. When the database is so big, so it will occupy the memory and the CPU of the routers. So the network engineers, they will come and divide the routers in different areas and make this database uh, shorter and easier. So the performance of the routers, it will be good and no problem happen. For example, here we start to make all these routers. We started in different buildings, make different area. When you use different area, we have some rules. First of all, the first rule, when we are using multi-area, we have an area 0. The name is backbone. So here I will write the backbone. Okay. The backbone is area 0, and always all the areas, the rules is all the areas must be connect to area 0. This is the rules. If you have 10 area, no matter, you must connect all of them different separated to the area 0. But sometimes maybe happen that you have another area like area 22, and you don't have any facility, you connect area 22 by cable or antenna. There is no solution, you can connect the area 22 directly to area 0. Then we will use a virtual link. There is a solution that later I will talk about it and show you how to configure virtual link. And we use from area 1 in the middle of area 22 and area 0, and this area will connect by the virtual link to the area 0. The other things that you must know when you are using multi-area, it is that you must understand about the routers. The name is ABR and ASBR. So I write ABR. Any routers that between the area 0, in middle of area 0 and the other areas working, we call ABR, the area border routers. Here we have ABR, here we have ABR. So these two are ABR. Now you know about ABR. And now what is ASBR? We have some routers that bringing the other routing protocol inside OSPF. Like this router. See, here we have EIGRP, and this router is common between EIGRP and OSPF. So this router is ASBR. Okay, here is ASBR, and also here in R1 is here the routing protocol is EIGRP, and here is OSPF. So this router also is ASBR. I think it was easy. You understand it. It's not something difficult or complicated. And okay, sorry. Okay. In ASPR, it is easy. As you see here in R8 or R1, if we go and run show IP protocol, you can see the first command that I show you before, uh, show IP protocols. And here you see OSPF and EIGRP run. So this is ASPR router. Okay, now let's see what happened. In when we have just one area, when we get a show IP route, only shows the O and the connected devices. It means that, for example, R1 says that I learned the route from R2 and R3. There's some routers, the connected routers also, it is obviously you can see the range of the IP. So in one area, you can see LSA type 1 and LS type 2. And In just one area, we have OSPF. That's it. But when we use the other area, when we have multi-area, any routers that come to that area shows like OIA. So I will show you when I write it show IP route. Oh, sorry, because I wanted to explain one area. I shut down the interface of F20. Just a moment. I must turn it on. Okay. Also, yeah. Also here, I must turn on the interface F20. I wanted to show you first one area. So, uh, interface F20, no chat. Okay, R3, yeah. You see now, when I turn on this interface, it was shut down. Now, when I turn it on, you will see the neighborship between 12 and this router happened. Okay, and now, sorry about this matter, but it is good. You can see when we are using just one area, you can see here it is O, L, and C. D, it is EIGRP that redistribute. I will explain about it. But when there is no other protocol, it is just OSPF, one area, you can see only O and connected and L. So we don't have any other things. But when you use the multi-area, the other routes that this area learn from the others, it will come but by OIA. See? Now you can see OIA. It means that this area learns some routing that is not belonging to this area and it is from another OSPF. So OIA, now you understand it. What's the difference between O and OIA? Now, if we go in show IPOSPF database, let's check our database. What happened about our database? Before, in one area, you saw we had the LSA type 1 and 2. It was just the router, that neighborship in one area, and it shows the DR. But now you can see a new LSA type. Before we saw router link, netlink, and now we have summary netlink. Look, here shows in R1 there is ASBR routers that bring some new route from another area. And if you check it, it shows router 3 bring all these route inside this area. Router 3 is the ABR or ABR that bring from another area inside this area. So now you can understand it. What is LSA type 3? So LSA type 1, LSA type 2, and LSA type 3. Okay? Now we will go for understanding LSA type 4 and 5. When you want to connect two routing protocol together, it means that here in this building run EIGRP, in this building is OSPF, and you set a router and set to both of the protocols in middle of this. So this is ASBR. We need to redistribute this EIGRP in OSPF and also redistribute the OSPF in EIGRP. So now I am talking about the redistribution. It is not the matters, it is EIGRP, REAP, ISIS, anything, any other protocol is different, and you have a common router. When you need, the router can ping together and find the other routing IP. You need it, redistribute it. So I will start to redistribute OSPF in EIGRP and vice versa in EIGRP to OSPF. So I go here in R8, just put it here. Uh, I will go in configuration, in conf mode, then I will go in router OSPF. Before, it's better do it like this. Uh, Before we start, it's better get show IP protocols. Okay, we have OSPF 1, and also we have here EIGRP 20. So we have these two protocols. You check it. We don't have any other routing protocol, just two. Just I give a summary about EIGRP to understand it, how redistribute, because it is important. We have two EIGRP naming and EIGRP number. It's important that you can first understand it, which one is EIGRP naming or number. In EIGRP naming, when you get the EIG show IP protocol, you can see it is from K1 to K5. It show you this is EIGRP number. If you use EIGRP naming, then you will see K6 also. Because of this, I set here EIGRP numbers, and also I set here EIGRP naming. You can see the difference. It is good for this matter, and it is just like information and experience. So now I am going in configuration. First, I go in router OSPF 1. It was 1. Now I write it redistribute. Want to redistribute which protocols? It is EIGRP. You can see. So I redistribute EIGRP. Then again, what was the EIGRP name? It was 20. Okay. So I write it 20. And at the end, I want to redistribute all the routing. It is classful, classless, so it's better I choose subnets. Okay, that's it. And now I am coming out from this router. I go in router EIGRP. It was 20, sorry. And here I start redistribute. You can see here we want to redistribute OSPF. What was the OSPF AS name? Was 1. And after that, you have some options that normally I use metrics. And in metrics, it is some settings about the bandwidth. For example, if you check it, it shows bandwidth, delay, and there is 5 options. I set it all of them in the minimum condition, and I did the redistribution. Okay, so now I am coming and just save everything. Here is better also. I save everything. So I did it the redistribution in R8. Now I am going in R1 to redistribute EIGRP in OSPF and OSPF in EIGRP. Yeah. Okay, first I will check IP protocols in R1. Okay, you see we have OSPF 1 and we have here EIGRP 1. But take a look. See, you can see here the name of the EIGRP naming is Cisco, and you can now see K6. In EIGRP naming, some features is different. We have address family. The location of the commands is different, and you must practice to know which location you must do and use it. So now you understand it, the difference between EIGRP naming. It's not just this, it's EIGRP naming used for white metric. Then in EIGRP, we will talk later about it. So I am going in configuration, router OSPF, it was 1, and start redistribute EIGRP. It was EIGRP naming. What was the name of the EIGRP? Cisco. You can check it. But here you don't need to use the name. It has a number. And when you set the EIGRP naming, automatically you needed to set the AS. So you can see here we have AS1. So I will go and set 1, and also says that all the subnets also needed to redistribute. Now I am coming out. I go in router EIGRP. Here we use the name of Cisco. I set it this EIGRP naming. I go inside it. Because this is EIGRP naming, we must use address family IPv4 and IPv6 for this purpose. And uh, sorry, IPv4 autonomous system was 1, AS was 1. I'm going in address family, and redistribution is in topology. Sorry, topology base, and here we have the option of redistribution. So EIGRP naming and numbers is a little different. You need to practice to know about it. So I says that redistribute the OSPF 1 and the metric 1. I set it in the minimum 1, 1, 1. Okay, and did it, and just write it to keep and save it. Okay, we redistribute these two EIGRP in OSPF and also OSPF in EIGRP. Now let's take a look in router 2. Before, if you remember, we had the show IP route. We, uh, where is that? In R1. Yeah, in R1, we check it. It was LSA type 1, 2, and 3. 3 was because we start to use multi-area and we learn from the other area from ABR router. And now when we start to show IP route, you can see now something's new. E2. E means this route come from another routing protocol. It learned from read EIGRP as it is. So now you understand OIA, and E2. Okay? You know, anytime in OSPF you see E2, it means that it is a ASBR. Okay? Now we are going to check our database also. It is type 1, type 2, type 3, and now you see type 4 that shows our ASBR and the address of the routing exactly from which routers learn. Take a look. Here, our tree was our ABR. But the matter is that from this routing that bring it inside this area, from this area come here in area 1, this ABR bring it inside this area, so knows this router as a ASBR, says that it is, so it can possible one ABR be ASBR, but it is not the real ASBR. Which router is the real ASBR? So in router and in type 4, it shows the ASBR, but the real ASBR you can identify in type 5 external link, and you can see here router 8 and router 1. So these two are the real ASER. So you can find it, you cannot easy in show IP route, just you can understand we have some routing is come from another routing protocol here. But it's not easy you identify the real ASBR. You need it to go in IP OSPF database, and then you can understand it from router type 4 and 5, uh, which ASPR, which routers are the real ASPR. So we cover router LSA type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, I will later explain you about it and tell you. Uh, don't forget, I cannot upload all the complete video in the LinkedIn. Please watch my YouTube channel. You can find the videos here uh, in NGIT. I put the link in LinkedIn. Also, you can watch and click it, and you watch all the full video. And please, if you like it, subscribe and like. Uh, I will be appreciate. Okay, so till now, I think easy understand about the LSA types, ABR, ASBR, what's the backbone, area zero, redistribution. And now we are going to check about the virtual link. Look at the router 4. I open the router 4. Router 4 is connected to the area 1. It's not connected directly to area 0. And we need to find a way that this area also be connected to this area 0, the backbone. And when we have no way, we must use virtual link. But there is some point that is important about virtual link. When you are using virtual link, first of all, I recommend you when you set OSPF, absolutely use router ID, set manual router ID. What's the matter? For example, you set a virtual link here and you didn't set the router ID. It is maybe loopback or the IP. But when you are connecting another router to this router, maybe this router ID change and the virtual link will go down. If you later, I will talk in next video, I will talk about the stop. What is a stop? If you make stop here, the virtual link also will down. You must care about the virtual link, and if you make a mistake, this link will be down. But how we set it, the virtual link? It is easy. Say router 2 is router ID is 222. Here is router R3 is 333. And area here is 1. So I go in R2, okay? I go in conf, in router, OSPF1. And here I says area 1 virtual link. So I am now in R2. I want to introduce router 3. What is the router ID? It is 333. I can click. That's it. Now I go in R3 I go in conf. I go in router OSPF1. Sorry, 1. Okay. Then I says area 1 virtual link. So R3, I want to introduce router 2. I will go and say 2222. That's it. I introduced the virtual link and you can see now neighborship 222 with virtual in OSPF VL1 loading full. Also, if we go in R2, here also you can see neighborship happened and falling down. So if I go and here, you remember before that, it was just, sorry, if we go in show IP route, was in, R14, sorry. Here, see, it was just the connected. But now we link this area to area 1. So if I go and say show IP route, you see, is that like that this area is connected to area 0 and we have all the IP routes here. Okay? So you can see the before what happened and after the virtual link we connected, it is like that this area, it is common between all the areas and learn all the routes, the external route AS from ASBR, the routing from the other area, and also the connected, this is normally shows. So I will go and save just in R2. I think already I did it, and in R3 we write it. Okay, I hope you enjoy this video. Uh, if you like it, please put some comment about me. Good, bad, no problem. And I hope you enjoy. Have a nice day.